Tai Chi is routinely prescribed by geriatricians to aging adults to help maintain their balance and physical strength. You will often find these specific classes taking place in community centers and clinical rehabilitation gyms. The data supporting this practice is well established. Regular participation cuts an older patient's risk of falling by up to 50%. But alongside physical stability, these classes produce a secondary, less obvious clinical outcome. Patients frequently report significant relief from clinical insomnia. Traditionally, sports medicine explains exercise-induced sleep through the aerobic model. The logic is that sheer physical exhaustion triggers deep rest. Yet Tai Chi is deliberately low impact. The movements do not exhaust the body or push the cardiovascular system to the point of fatigue. This contradiction forces a reevaluation of how exercise actually influences the aging brain. If the body isn't physically exhausted, something else is driving the sleep response. The working thesis is that this gentle practice bypasses physical fatigue entirely and directly rewires the brain's internal sleep architecture. To test this mechanism, researchers designed a 12-week randomized controlled trial. They recruited 67 older adults, all between the ages of 65 and 75, who were specifically diagnosed with mild sleep disturbances. The intervention group completed a standardized 24-form Tai Chi routine, practicing for 60 minutes a day, 5 days a week. To measure the results, researchers used portable polysomnography, or PSG, to monitor the patients while they slept in their own homes. Instead of relying purely on daily journals, where patients write down how well they slept, PSG allowed the team to capture raw electroencephalography data. We are moving past subjective feelings of rest and looking at the hard, objective electrophysiological frequencies generated by the brain. Before the trial began, the researchers established a baseline using the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, or PSQI. All participants scored between 5 and 10, indicating mild insomnia. After 12 weeks, the subjective reports from the Tai Chi intervention group were highly positive. The patients recorded a statistically significant drop in their overall PSQI scores, reporting marked improvements in their sleep quality. They also reported a shortened sleep onset latency, meaning they were falling asleep much faster than they were 3 months prior. The control group, who maintained their normal daily activities without the exercise intervention, saw no improvements in their scores. Subjective relief marks a clear clinical victory. However, proving the underlying biological mechanism requires looking at the structural data of the patient's sleep cycles. Sleep architecture refers to the cyclical pattern the brain follows as it moves through different depths of rest over the course of a night. This graph is a hypnogram. It maps a standard 8-hour sleep cycle, tracing the descent from wakefulness down through light sleep stages 1 and 2, and finally reaching the deep sleep stage, known as N3. Looking specifically at the N3 stage, this is where the critical biological work happens: physical recovery, tissue repair, and memory consolidation. As humans age, the duration of this specific N3 stage naturally shortens. This deterioration is the primary hallmark of aging-related sleep disorders. When the researchers analyzed the polysomnography data from the Tai Chi group, they found a massive structural shift precisely in this deep sleep stage.
The proportion of the N3 stage increased by 23.1%. The practice physically stretched the duration of deep recovery sleep, reversing the age-related architectural decay. To understand how this expansion happens, we have to examine the microelectrical frequencies firing within that N3 stage. The core electrophysiological marker of deep sleep is the delta wave. This chart isolates a delta wave, characterized as a slow, high-amplitude oscillation that fires between 0.5 and 4 Hz. The trial's raw EEG data revealed that the Tai Chi intervention directly enhanced the power of these slow waves. Specifically, delta wave power grew from a baseline of 39.7 microvolts squared up to 44.3. This objective electrical boost provides the literal frequency data behind the patient's subjective reports of waking up feeling rested. The enhancement of the delta wave acts as the internal engine driving the physical expansion of the N3 stage. While deep sleep expands, the brain also has to protect that rest. This requires us to look back up at the lighter N2 sleep stage. Here, the critical EEG marker is the sleep spindle. As shown in the schematic, it is a tightly clustered high-frequency burst between 11 and 16 Hz. A sleep spindle functions as a neurological sensory blockade.
It inhibits external stimuli from waking the brain. A higher density of these spindles maintains sleep continuity, preventing the fragmentation and easy awakenings that plague older adults. In the N2 stage, the Tai Chi intervention group generated a 6% increase in sleep spindle density. While the researchers noted this specific metric was marginally significant, with a p-value of 0.07, it points to a clear biological trend. Tai Chi actively stabilizes the thalamocortical circuit to protect the deepened sleep from interruption. The study's final dataset bridges the gap between the patient's written diaries and the objective sensors of the polysomnography equipment. This scatter plot tracks the direct relationship between the subjective drop in PSQI scores on one axis and the objective rise in N3 delta wave power on the other. The data points align, linking the relief from insomnia to specific electrophysiological changes in the brain. This correlation removes the placebo effect. The improvement is a direct result of biological change, rather than the social environment of a community exercise class. The clinical efficacy of the practice is an indisputable, quantifiable alteration of brainwave activity. This brings us back to the original clinical paradox, how a gentle, low-impact exercise outperforms exhausting aerobic workouts in treating insomnia. Tai Chi relies on a physical synergy, pairing rhythmic, deliberate movement with highly regulated abdominal breathing. This exact physical combination acts as a trigger, effectively downshifting the body to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. That parasympathetic activation directly suppresses excessive excitability in the corticothalamic network, allowing the brain to transition into natural, sustained sleep. For clinicians and researchers, this data provides a rigorous, objective basis for prescribing the practice to aging populations. Tai Chi operates as a potent, non-pharmacological neuroregulator, capable of rewiring the aging brain's